So, continuing the conversation about the metaverse, and we're going to have, hopefully, lots of people putting chairs on stage and stuff. I'm going to introduce you to a very good friend of Branded and Gaming Matters, Nicholas Khoo. Nick has been helping us with Gaming Matters pretty much since first year. By the way, did you know Gaming Matters is one of the longest running gaming conferences in Asia outside of Japan? I think it actually might be the longest. So please welcome the co-founder of Yup, former chairman of Skoga, and a gamer, Nicholas Khoo.
Thank you.
Hey, Nick.
Hey.
To Gaming Matters. Now, we have to stand miles apart because, rules. So now I've been asking everyone their first game. You're too young for that. What's your current game of choice?
You mean current games?
Current game. What are you playing at the moment? What was the last game you played?
I was playing Mobile Legends a lot. I got off of it recently, went back, tried out some of the new arcade modes, Magic Chess and all of that. Been trying to play a bit of Free Fire. And I've been trying to download this game called XC Infinity. Not very successful. You got to download this and this client and all of that, but I promise I'll get to it.
Thankfully, they're not sponsoring us today. So the metaverse, we're going to talk about the metaverse. Everyone's talking about it. I was talking about live experiences and how great it is to be back in a room and all that stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Is the metaverse going to take over from the live experience? Is it better than being there?
I'll tell you after the session.
Okay, that's your.
Maybe we can ask our panelists.
but good luck with the rest of it.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yes. Jasper and I have been working on this Gaming Matters for a while, a few years now. It feels a bit strange to be back on stage. I think the last time we were on this stage at Ritz-Carlton was 2 years back. I remember we talked about quite a few things at the time. But one of my favorite panels then was, I think we called it Crazy Rich Gamers, the $100 Million Club. And basically we had gamers or esports teams who came on stage like Cloud9, FaZe Clan, Team Liquid. Each of them at the time was more than 200 million, right? And talk about the whole trend behind gamers making lots of money, esports teams and all that. It was fun. We even had the co-founder of Twitch, Kevin Lin, to help to moderate that panel. It was a lot of fun. Well, 2 years is a long time, right? And a lot have happened, a lot have passed, and I thought we should progress with the times, right? After 2 years out of isolation, I mean, in the virtual world, right? We should be talking about unicorns now. Right, so I'm happy to tell you that today we're going to have folks coming up here who may or may not be unicorns, but they will definitely be unicorn one day, right? So join me welcoming Christel Quek from Bolt. Christel. Prakash Somo from Enjinstarter, please. Take a seat. And we have Jake. Jake's an artist, music producer from Ocean Butterflies. Thank you. So we're just going to start with intros. Thank you so much, Christel, Prakash, and Jake for joining us. I'll start with Christel, right?
Hello.
Co-founder and CTO of Bolt, right? Killing it in the OTT, media, blockchain space.
We're trying to.
Very humble. Okay, tell us about your story. Tell us about your journey and a bit about Bolt, the business, what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I kind of went down the whole blockchain rabbit hole, I think back in 2016, and I never looked back. So I always wanted to start a company in the space, in the blockchain space, because I do fundamentally believe that the blockchain can change a lot of lives. And I think it should be a lot more democratized and accessible to everyone. So, I co-founded Bolt back in 2017 in the sort of ICO big bubble that happened, and then we went on to decentralized finance and NFTs and now Metaverse. So Bolt is actually a fintech and media ecosystem. It's built on the blockchain. We have Bolt Plus, a live streaming service, and Bolt X, a cryptocurrency wallet that is available on iOS and Android, and also as a web extension on your internet browsers. So we're supported by Opera, Brave, and also Google Chrome as well. And we're here to actually help creators and fans obtain their creative and financial freedom. Yeah, so that's what we do. We work with a lot of different companies around the world, like Hisense, a smart TV manufacturer, and Telenor, a leading telco company in Pakistan, Thailand, etc. Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to just kind of dive a little bit, just a little bit, right? Because
Okay.
when you talk about content creators and all that, you also started into esports content.
Yes, and we actually did Campus Legends, your great
That's right.
T-shirt.
Yeah, okay. Big plug there.
Yeah.
How's that going? How's the esports content doing?
It's actually good. So we've actually just signed a deal with Resilience Esports, one of the leading esports leagues in India as well. So they have over 500 gamers, and a couple of them have millions of followers on YouTube. So we're onboarding them onto the Boat Plus platform, where they can not just live stream their gameplay, but also look into NFT-based revenue streams. And we're looking to do NFT drops with them as well. So it'll be really exciting for us.
Very, very exciting. Okay, we'll come back to more about the business later.
Yes.
But for now, Prakash, congrats on the very successful launch of Enjinstarter, right? And you had quite a journey too, right? You had your digital agency that was sold to Martin Sorrell, and you're now working on this blockchain gaming launchpad with Enjinstarter. Huge launch. I also read some big announcements you made with Engine, the guys who created the NFT standard. What was it, ERC 1155 or something like that? Okay, and then you had this announcement with Hatton Land, the largest real estate developer in Malacca. I think looking at some digital metaverse, Malacca, and all that. Tell us more about all the exciting stuff.
Sure. So I'm the CEO and co-founder of Enjinstarter. We're a launchpad that's focused on blockchain gaming as well as metaverses. We're very, very new in the space. We just completed our public sale on the 2nd of October, so we've been trading for about 11 days now. But things have been very good. They say in blockchain world, 1 year is like 7 doc years, and things move very, very quickly. Things move very, very fast. But we do work, 24/7, 7 days a week. And what we primarily do is we look for content creators who are interested in exploring this space. We invest, we accelerate them. We also help them with their marketing, their fundraising, and their community building. And primarily what we are is we're ecosystem builders. So like what Nick mentioned, we're working with Hatton, which is a Singapore-listed property developer, and they are building a digital metaverse as a digital twin to their real estate in Malacca, and we're using this extended period of limited travel to explore the metaverse to create new opportunities. We strongly believe the metaverse will change the way that we live, work, and play, and I think that's kind of our excitement of identifying the key projects that will actually change that space, and that's the main motivation of what we're doing. And Nick, thanks a lot for inviting me here today. This a surreal experience. We've been zoomed out and online for too long, and being in real life is just phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you. And Prakash, 11 days. I think I checked this morning the market cap on Coin Market Cap, $684 million, something like that. Fully diluted, some crazy number. We'll come back to that about whether you're going to be a unicorn in the next few days, okay? Right. And before that, some of you read about like this title, like Birds and Bees, and then you're wondering what it's about. Well, recently I had the privilege of working with Gardens by the Bay, and we created like a metaverse-ish virtual performance for the National Day. It was we called the Virtual National Day Concert, right? It was a lot of fun, and I had to chance to work with Jake, who was the artist, and Ocean Butterfly gave tremendous support, and I'm so glad to have Jake here with us. Now, before we kind of like go to Jake, we're going to run a quick trailer video, right? If there's
再度起航，再度见你，再度与你，载着勇气，在通向远方，在迎接光芒，伴着云飞翔，伴着你飞翔，再度起航，再点燃希望，再深度力量，新的梦飞翔，新的我飞翔，再度起航。
I don't know about you, Jake, but just watching that on a big screen for the first time for myself
Yeah, same.
gave me some goosebumps, right? You know, because it was metaverse virtual, we could do anything we want, right? Might as well fly the whole thing up to the sky, right? Why not? Right? Turn the super trees into booster engines and all that, right? So that trailer that you saw was shown to more than 1.3 million people in Singapore for the National Day, and I think I checked the conversion rate was more than 10, so maybe closer to 15%, right? Very, very exciting, and you know, Jake, I wanted to kind of like dive into your experience as an artist working on the project. Tell us more.
Thanks for having me with these amazing people. Everyone sitting here. Yeah, real life is crazy, man. It's been stuck in the whole online Zoom and gaming and all that. I think this is the first time I actually worked with sort of like a virtual MV concert. We're also used to having cameras everywhere, taking every one of your little movements. So firstly, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who supported this, and also director Mark. He had this vision that to bring, you know, the whole Gardens by the Bay into this fantastical new age kind of metaverse style, and the team made it happen, and these guys were amazing. But looking at all the different new technologies that we got to work with, like motion, do you know that motion capture can be done on your iPhone now? I did not know that. I was so used to having full motion suit and everything. They were like, no, just turn up in like, you know, t-shirt, jeans, make sure you don't clash with the green screen, you're good. It's crazy, and I think that's part of what I'm really excited about for the future, for people who are younger than me, for everyone in the world, right? Like how much more technology is becoming more and more accessible, and we can make such great things, and everyone will be able to do something amazing. And I think that's what a lot of this is all about, to me at least. Yeah.
You know, talking about that motion capture, we were playing with these motion capture suits that were like $80,000, and then I was like, how do we scale this, man? This is 80,000 per suit, right? And then that day I saw you in the studio doing it with the iPhone, and I was like, okay, that's that's the way, and that's the outcome that we saw over there. Pretty amazing, right? And we'll come back to you in a bit, right? So now we're just kind of like going to maybe ask some questions. We're going to open up questions to the floor, right? In a bit, not now, right? Just maybe, but think about the questions that you want to ask. For those who are online, you can start sending your questions in. We'll try to take them. But for a start, I thought it would be good to level set a bit, right? What is the metaverse? Let's talk about what is the metaverse, right? So I read a report in July. I think Mark Zuckerberg went to his guys one day and said, Facebook is going to be a metaverse company, right? All the interactions and all the ads and all the things that we don't want to see is going to become part of the metaverse. or a metaverse, right? And then what he said, something like a maximalist, interconnected set of experiences. I'm not sure whether he said straight out of sci-fi, but okay, right? A world known as the metaverse, right? And then basically, then the New York Times started reporting about like how Epic Games, who's here today, right? Fortnite, Roblox, Animal Crossing, and all that started to have more and more metaverse-like elements. I think Epic Games CEO, Tim Sweeney himself, started talking about the metaverse for, I think, quite a few months now, right? So I went to Google up like this, what is this term? I mean, not this morning, but I Googled this up sometime back. It's like, oh, apparently it was a term coined in a sci-fi novel in 1992, right, called Snow Crash, right? And so I thought, you know, everyone has an idea of what is a metaverse and all that. So maybe let's get that first question out of the way first, right? Who wants to go first? Talk about what is your idea, or what is the metaverse to you, and why are you so drawn or attracted to it? Or maybe you're not, but anyone?
So I started my career in Web 1.0, you know, the early days of websites where people were putting content online as a mean of promoting themselves. And then later on we saw Web 2.0, right, where it was a lot of social media. People started getting into conversations. And where we are now entering in is really Web 3.0, where, you know, we're now entering into this virtual environment. And a lot of it is being accelerated due to the pandemic, because we can't travel. We're stuck at home, so we're spending more time playing games. And we're just entering into this virtual environment. except that at this point in time, there are new opportunities that are made available. There are new ways that people can actually earn an income, right? So we saw that happening in Philippines with Axie Infinity, people who are stuck at home, unable to travel, but they managed to make they found a new source of income by playing games. And this whole play to earn, we believe, is going to be a mega trend. We're seeing a lot of games incorporating that into their micro economies. And I think all this is what is bringing us into this metaverse, where we will have a virtual environment to host a chat. We would use that to define our culture. And a lot of things that we're seeing in the crypto space is actually pointing towards that direction, right? So a lot of people talk about NFTs, especially these PFP projects. And a lot of people ask me, why do people spend so much money buying a JPEG, right? But the reality is, that JPEG is going to become that avatar in a metaverse. It would become 3D one day. It would be your physical representation in the metaverse. And it's a modern day flex, right? In the past, if you have achieved or accumulated wealth, you may buy a sports car or you buy a branded watch, but you can't do that in the metaverse. But you can define yourself by having a punk or having a much sought after NFT. So all this is actually kind of bringing us into this metaverse, and we're still very, very early. It's a long journey ahead, but with this, it brings a whole lot of opportunities for brands, for brand owners, for us as individuals, and I think that's really where we're excited about. And I think one last area, I feel the metaverse kind of cuts across religion. We feel that people with physical difficulties or disabilities can connect with all of us as one, and I think the metaverse will play a key role in the new normal, and I think that's what we're all excited about.
I like that a lot, right? The metaverse is very, very inclusive, right, in the sense. Jake, do you have anything to add, Jake?
Yeah, I think he perfectly summed it all up. To me, I think the metaverse is sort of more of a, it's like this distant future that, like, when the internet came about, right? Like, I was born just when the internet started. And that was, to me, like the big bang that started everything. Everything just expanded from there. We went from SMS to, like, pages to SMS, and then suddenly we had like text messaging, we had MSN and all that, and then Facebook, and what we have now today with Zoom, Discord, and whatnot. And I feel like the metaverse is just that universe that we are all heading towards eventually, where we can have way more ways to collaborate and to work with people, and having all these different use cases to be brought up. I think that really, really excites me, and it's something that, yeah, the future is great.
The last part that you said just got me imagining that's maybe how Mark Zuckerberg said it to his staff, right? Right, probably. Christel.
Well, funny that you talked about Mark Zuckerberg. Actually, I was just having a discussion earlier while waiting the PET test results with Luke, a gentleman from Riot 2 that I haven't seen for ages, right? So he was asking me as well, what is your definition of metaverse? And I'm like, you know what? I can tell you what it's not going to be. It's definitely not going to be created by Facebook or Mark Zuckerberg. I think it'd be a very scary thought if Mark Zuckerberg created the metaverse. Can you imagine if we had that 6-hour outage? We will all be stuck in there and having 6 hours worth of ad times blasted into our faces by him. Okay, but all jokes aside, I think the metaverse, to be honest with you, it's not, a lot of first-gen metaverse companies, I don't think they're going to make it. I think the metaverse, for it to really work, it has to be an open source internet protocol, almost like what the internet is going to be like now, a full environment where everybody can build on top of it. It's going to be like the internet protocol, open source. It's going to be like Bitcoin, open source money. Then it's going to work, and you will have different brands coming in, like your banks, your Coinbases, your Coca-Colas coming in to build their own metaverse fan stores or fan pages. Think of it like how Facebook first started, when the whole mad rush came in and people started creating Facebook fan pages, getting in their fans, having all these, literal flexes. I have 100,000 fans. Remember the days when 100,000 fans on Facebook was a big thing? So that's going to happen all over again. But the metaverse is going to be this open source place where anyone can build everything. And I think to Prakash's point as well, the reason why people are buying NFTs now is sort of, okay, I'm going to get in early, buy it, and then I can flex that thing that I have this Cyclops, NFT and punk like the gentleman just now. I was actually looking at it and I was like, wow, he's got the Cyclops one. That must be really expensive. That's the price of like a Sentosa Cove bungalow, I think. So, no, there is a picture. I'm just flexing, right? So, but I mean, not that I would do that, but in all seriousness, I think that's what the metaverse is going to be like. It's not going to be owned by any other entity. And I think the next cycle where we see successful companies going into the metaverse, it's where they would have something called the decentralized autonomous organizations, what we call the DAOs. Fun fact, go and Google it if you may not know what a DAO is. That's how I think communities are going to evolve as well, because a lot of people are going to have self-governance, self-sustaining ecosystems where economic activity can happen and is governed by this DAOs, sort of like what Axie Infinity actually does. So I think what Axie Infinity has done is truly remarkable, and it's the first step to what I think the metaverse space is going to look like. Sorry, long answer. Very enthusiastic.
No, that's amazing. We can cast some shade on Mark Zuckerberg today because the conference is sponsored by Twitch, not Facebook. So
sorry if anyone is from Facebook.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it's kind of no. I really enjoyed that. Right. We can't tell you what the metaverse may be, but we can tell you what it's not, and it's not going to be run by Facebook, right? That's and it's going to be open, it's going to be inclusive, and it's going to be exciting, right? And great. This, like, I went back to Prakash, right? Like I said, and talking about unicorns, right? So this morning, I before I came, I checked CoinMarketCap. I was like, what is the value of Enjinstarter today, right? I almost fell off my chair when I saw it was like 683 million. I think that's like maybe this is what 11 days post-launch and all that. So I feel that you're like already a unicorn, even though the numbers don't say so. So I'm going to ask you straight out: is Enjinstarter a unicorn? If not, are you going to be one in the next few days or weeks?
We're like a 10-day-old foal, but we're in a very exciting space, and I think the marriage between blockchain and gaming is going to be very, very exciting. We're fortunate to be associated and affiliated with Engine, who's kind of the OG in the space. That lends a lot of weight to what we're doing. But it's a long journey ahead, and I would say that it's exciting. There's a lot of work to be done, but yeah, we're just leaving that metric as behind and just focusing on the work that we really got to do.
Yeah, but let's take it right. This broader question about unicorns. Everyone's like fascinated about these unicorns in the tech space. I've been reading articles about acceleration of unicorns in the past 2 years, even though we're in like the worst pandemic ever, right? Just like the number of unicorns doubled or tripled in the past year or so, and all that, right? So, any views? Maybe Christel, do you have any views about unicorns coming out in this space? When are you going to be a unicorn if you're not one already?
That's a really good question. Actually, my co-founder and I share the same idea about our sort of thoughts about unicorns, right? I think a lot of unicorns in the space, no disrespect to everyone, I'm a bit contrarian in my views sometimes, good for them. I think it's more of a product of financial engineering rather than value creation. And what we want to do is to be able to create a platform where we can allow for all of our creators and fans to get their own creative and financial freedom. So if they become millionaires, then obviously Boat is going to do really, really well. So that's what we're trying to look at, like how do we reshift the value paradigm and allow for value creation to really happen for our creators and fans, and we'll be whatever corn it is, unicorn, decacorn, whatever corn, I mean, unicorns technically don't exist, that's why they're unicorns, right? So, I mean, for us, it's about value creation and value, shifting the value paradigm for us, really. So
that's not contrarian at all. Thank you. Right. I think there was one of the big local PE firms, right? They said, "Oh, we're not into unicorns, we're into rhinos or something, right?
Robust and, valuable.
Yeah. Once they start running, you better get out of the way. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Prakash, any other views about unicorns in the space? We will see. Okay, let's maybe get a term out of the way. Like, will we see a lot of companies or organizations that will be creating and delivering a lot of value?
I would say that a lot of new unicorns will come out of gaming. I think what we've seen with XE Infinity was just the start of this wave that we are all fortunate to ride on. One of Enjinstarter's early investors is Gabby Dizon. He worked since 2018, right, to get XE Infinity into Philippines. He introduced the whole scholar program and did a phenomenal amount of impact. He's done very well with Eel Games. They became officially a unicorn in 9 months. And I spoke to him, right, and I said, how do you feel about having done this in such a record time? And he said, look, we need to measure ourselves based on the impact that we create, and not just about the monetary value. And they thrive on the fact that the bulk of their income is shared with the community because of the DAO structure, and all the different scholars that they have, the different managers that they have. And that's what we aspire to, right? It's an ecosystem effort that we have. We definitely want more people to benefit from the work that we're doing, and I think we'll measure ourselves based on that. But we're definitely going to see a lot more gaming and metaverse startups that will actually become unicorns, just based on the model that they're going to provide opportunities for others to actually make money, whereas the traditional or the old school way was the corporate makes all the money, and we're sucking value out from everyone, whereas now it's a very distributed, decentralized, where everyone, as long as you have time, you can participate. You don't have money, you can be a scholar and trade time for value. And I think that's where the game changer is going to be.
Well, thank you. And just a word to, I think, those who are joining us online, right? Let your questions come in, right? We'll try to take as many of them as possible soon, right? But Prakash mentioned about XE Infinity, right? It just baffles me, right? YGG, unicorn in 9 months, right? And I think XE Infinity is also like a $3 billion company, right? And I still find it hard to download the game, right? and get my XEs, right? So it's just amazing. But like half of Philippines is on XE Infinity, right? It's crazy, right? Now, one of the questions that I hear people talking about in terms of the metaverse and all that is about this identity, digital identity. I think this conversation accelerated because of the pandemic, right? There's just a whole shift to digital. Everyone's had to adopt some kind of digital identity, be it your thing on Zoom or Prakash's avatar over there, or Jake's virtual performance and all that, right? So, let's talk about this notion or concept of digital identity, especially in a metaverse type of setting, right? What ideas or concepts have you experienced or seen that you really like? Or maybe like what are some of the challenges, right, that you hear people talking about, or you in terms of identity? And I feel that we should start with Jake, especially we've just seen you live in person on stage and your virtual performance.
Yeah, I think in terms of identity-wise, there's a little bit of a disconnect for me, at least right now. Why I look at punks and apes and I'm like, yeah, I don't really connect with it. But so growing up, all I've played while I was a kid was Habbo Hotel, and you had a sense of just being yourself, right? You are this person, this tiny person in the world. You have your room, and then 3 months later, you get scammed of everything you own. I think there's a lot of...
don't let that define you. Don't let that define you.
I mean, like, for example, when my parents ask me, right, why would someone pay $3 million to buy a picture, like a few pixels, right? Can I download that? Can I sell it for $3 million? And I find that it's a bit hard for me to explain why people would do that right now. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm just not sure how the platform is right now for how it's being used. But it's something that I believe in. I just don't know how to explain it very well.
Christel?
I think the idea of the digital identity and why, maybe if we correlate it back to the NFT phenomenon, right? So there are certain NFT drops, say, the Bored Apes one, right, for example. When you have the NFT, it gives you access. It's about accessibility, and it gives you sort of unprecedented levels of either governance or utility within a very tightly knitted community. Like, you're part of the club. So if you have a CryptoPunk, you're part of that club. It's partly flex, to Prakash's point, but I think it's about being part of a more exclusive community at this point in time, and maybe in the future, having a mode of governance that allows you to use your digital identity in a new way. So it's sort of like forming a different type of government within a different sort of virtual space, I would say, and now this sort of governance and governments are being formed in Discord servers, not even Telegram groups anymore, but Discord servers. So I think it's going to really evolve over time. I mean, now it's a representation, it's a picture, but really the NFT that you're buying, it's a record on a public blockchain, a public ledger. That's the real thing. After that, it could be a picture, it could be a 3D avatar, it could be, I don't know what it's going to be, I don't know how the metaverse is going to look like, right? So a lot of people are going to make a lot of money over the years, I guess, finding out how that is going to look like. I'm not a creative guy, so I think it's
now
Jake.
I feel quite like deprived in just my digital identity, like, because I don't own. Right, I have not minted my own NFT, right? But Prakash has done some stuff in the NFT space.
So I would say that the greatest challenge at this point of time is the accessibility, right? In order for you to buy or mint NFT, you need gas, and it's a bit like a lucky draw, right? You're going there, you have no idea what you're going to purchase, you got to put in your funds, and then you click mint. And then you hope you get it, right? But at that point in time, there'll be thousands of people who are rushing if the project is popular, and you end up spending money and not getting anything back in return. But if you're lucky and you spot a project early, which I was quite fortunate in early August, where there was this project called the Lazy Lion. Honestly, I just wanted something for National Day. Woke up at 4 a.m., minted it, wish I had bought more than one, spent something like $200, and within 2 months it became 8,000 US. And Christel is right. It really, why the value went up, it was because it was the club, right? And the energy in the club, the amount of things that they were doing in Discord, discussing ideas on how to promote the project, discussing ideas on how to collaborate, is what created the value that was associated with that image. And then, once the celebrities started coming in, the floor price went up. But again, these are concepts that are even very challenging for people who are in crypto, let alone someone who's new. And I know friends who, they're missing out and they want to participate, and then they go there and they end up losing money. Because, it's still a wide ocean out there. That's why they call it open sea. And there's still a lot of tools that need to be created to enable a lot more people to come and participate.
Yeah, I think maybe just to add on to Prakash's point, thank you. I think that's really, really well explained also, the gas part. We'll come back to that in a moment. I think the thing about the NFT space right now is it's not just painting a random picture, putting it on OpenSea and expecting people to buy it. That doesn't work that way. If that's the case, then we can do that, right? We can get anyone to paint a picture and put it up online. But I think the most valuable NFT collections are actually is a generative art piece generated via a smart contract with different rarity attributes, and then you click mint, and then you hope you get something. So something rare, So I give you an example, right? Say a lion, right? So if you have a lion's picture, the lion could be wearing a different headwear, it could be having a different mouthpiece, it could be having different types of colored manes, rainbow, whatever, think of it in this different sense. So when you click generate or you click mint, then the smart contract just randomly generates stuff for you, right? But what I've seen in the last week or so is that if it used to be manual, now when a smart contract is open and ready, unlocked, basically, I've started seeing bots going in to mint it automatically now, so it's completely crazy. I feel that even that part now, people are trying to game the system, because if they write a bot to just randomly mint and have a wallet linked to it, they can get all the rare NFTs, right? So that's also not very fair. So I think there's a lot of stuff to improve in the space beyond even just gas fees now. If we can't even solve this part of gamification and making it more fair and accessible, then we can't even talk about making it understandable from a transaction fee perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, now. Yeah, okay. I was going to say that, Prakash bought his Mad Lion, right? Mad Lion on National Day, right? And Jake, we totally missed it. We should have just minted, right, some NFT of you on the National Day performance, right? And then maybe we have made more money, right? I'm actually seeing some questions come from online. And we want to open up questions to the floor, just kind of like watching time here. I do have a few more questions here, but kind of like give time for folks to ask question. Yeah, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hands, and then someone will come to you with a mic. And unfortunately, we have the luxury of taking our masks off, but you have to keep your mask on. I apologize. Is there a question somewhere? Someone? Someone likes a bit bright. I don't have that problem when I'm on Zoom. Somebody? Okay, no. Okay, while we're waiting, okay, there's a question came in online, and there's a question about like crypto, right? So what do you think the main thing is the public, or they say we are missing as a public when it comes to crypto, right? And maybe I should add that about our topics about Metaverse, NFTs, right? In terms of info, in terms of the main thing that we didn't see coming. Anyone?
I think actually just now, Christel brought up a very good point when we were off stage, that there's a lack of info. In terms of, I mean, general info, it's easy to find, but having a lot of specific info, like not a lot of people know about gas. I know a lot of my friends don't know what an NFT is. They just think it's something you go onto OpenSea or Rarible to buy, and like that's it, just buy it secondhand and start one. So, but then I was also saying that it's not very interesting content in our age of like hyper fixated short-term video things, right? So it's a challenge, I feel, in terms of info. Definitely, it's something that we have to do a lot of research before getting into it. Yeah.
Anything else? Anyone wants to add?
Like what your experience with Axie Infinity, right? You come in with an expectation that things are a lot more advanced, especially someone like you who plays like AAA games. But the entire space is still very, very new, and there's a lot of steps that you need to go through before you can fully experience the space. And the infrastructure is still being built. There's still a long way to go. So the key advice really is to be patient, to invest into what you're passionate about, and not chase after the hype, because you end up chasing the tail of mythical creature, right? So it's more important that you follow or collect art that you enjoy, and then through that process, if you actually get the benefits, then it becomes a great experience, and not to kind of chase the hype.
I think, thank you for saying that as well. I think the problem about crypto right now is that it can seem quite intimidating. It can also seem very much like every other day in the mass media, you will see some China banning crypto, or some regulators saying that they want to do something about crypto. Crypto is really bad. It went from, oh, only money laundering people use it, to, oh, only small countries use it, right? So sort of the phases in the last couple of years.
And Zuckerberg wants to own it.
Yeah, and now Mark Zuckerberg wants to do it, so it definitely must be legitimate now. So I think crypto can be very intimidating, and it requires a very core mindset shift. You need to be a self-starter, you need to be a learner, and you need to not be afraid to ask questions, right? I have our head of marketing at Boat, Bianca, now trying to film me or something like that. I can see her there. You know, she asked a lot of really great questions about the space, and you know, she's a new member of our team, and you know, and it also reminds me that you know sometimes not everybody knows all the stuff that you know we look at in the space. So as people who are a bit more crypto literate, we should try and be accessible with our information as well, and think of, you know, how will we explain to our parents? How will we explain to people who may not even be crypto native? Because it's no longer about being digital native, it's about being crypto native, and that requires a very self-starter, entrepreneurial mindset, you know, to look at how the whole fundamental shift in economics and value creation is going to really fundamentally change.
Well, I don't see any hands raised in the floor. I'm going to sidetrack 1 minute and stay with you, Christel. How do you explain Bolt's value proposition to an esports team?
Well, this
Or a gamer.
event is sponsored by Twitch. It would not be in good form to say anything bad about that.
You can say something about Zuckerberg or Facebook, but
No, but in all seriousness, right? I think you know, if Twitch goes into sort of the NFT space and you know the blockchain space, I think it's only good for the industry, to be honest, because we need more people and we need more companies to come into it and do more stuff around it. What I do think is that, well, for both at least, we want to look at different forms of value creation for creators and fans, and we want to look at new revenue streams for them. So a lot of our streamers, for example, they stream on Twitch, they stream on YouTube, and we never once say to them, don't stream on them, they're bad. No, in fact, we're like, great, stream on Twitch, stream on Boat to, you know, explore new forms of revenue generation. We're here to help you find a different level of creative and financial freedom for you. So you don't have to give up any of your Twitch stuff or your YouTube stuff. Come and try something new with us. That's what we're doing right now, because we believe in accessibility, democratization, and you don't have to compromise creative freedom or financial freedom. You can have both. That's what we're trying to do.
So make money from Twitch, from YouTube and Facebook, and come to Bolt and make more money. Okay, that's a good pitch to a gamer or
I should
esports
get you as
team.
an advisor.
Maybe you should. We have a question coming from the floor. Right, thank you.
Hi guys, Tobias from Media Monks. I didn't really have a question, but it's been so long since I've done a live question. Haven't had to put it up on Google Meet, so thought I'd try it out. It's pretty. For the three of you, who are those? Pick one or three, those looks that you look at, that you take inspiration of, like creators, companies, etc.
Who inspires you? Right, I'll take inspiration from. Right, definitely not Zuckerberg for you. I'm sure of it.
That's funny.
Anyone take a stab?
I think the question was, who do we take inspiration
That's
from?
right. Yeah.
I think in terms of, in general, I think I would say not anyone who is really famous. I would say my friends in the Philippines right now, because they inspire me every single day. So ever since COVID started, we became friends long ago when we all started playing Team Fortress 2 together and spending almost every day on it. And when COVID started, they were hit pretty hard. And a few of my friends, they had huge losses in their family, and they're still struggling every day. And I think that's why it's really amazing for me to see how Axie changed their lives. Like some of them, their sole income person in the family, right? They lost them due to COVID, or something happened where their income dropped, or they got like retrenched and whatnot. They, 18, 17-year-old, they can actually help out with the family, and I think that just makes me feel really good about what the whole space is doing, because it's, imagine like they were not in a position to be able to do that before, and now they can actually provide for the whole family. So yeah, that drives me and keeps me up at night every day, but it's also something that wakes me up every morning.
I think that's the reason why I'm still trying to download Axie Infinity. Right, I'm not going to stop trying, but that's really inspiring. Yeah. How about? Prakash or Christel.
Well, I briefly shared. It's Gabby that I take a lot of
Yep, yep.
inspiration from.
Also from Philippines, yeah.
Yeah, and primarily because of his way around ecosystem building. It was never about selling something to anyone. It's never about pitching anything, but it's about bringing the community together, working together as a community, and that's really the spirit of blockchain and crypto.
And Christel, you said something about create value, and then the money would follow in a sense, right? That's what you shared with your co-founder, and I think what Prakash shared about Gabby is exactly that, right? I mean, he talked about just focusing on impact ecosystem, and he became the fastest unicorn, right? 9 months, right? and all that. Anything to add, Christel?
I think maybe the question can be answered in two parts. I think one part of it for sure is that building a company in this space is very exciting, very exhilarating, and also the subject of a lot of potential incidents of cardiac arrest on a 24-hour basis. Not just because of the price, but because of the ongoing developments in the space. So you really have to be on top of your toes. And I think I take a lot of inspiration for sure from our own team to be and how they're sort of not just. I think sometimes they don't even realize the impact of their work every single day on what they're doing all around the world, because we're distributed, we're decentralized in that sense, our talent and our culture. So that's one part of it. I think another part of it obviously is our streamer ecosystem. But I think what is really heartening to me, to be honest, and that's what we're trying to do at Bolt as well, is to be able to onboard very established corporate brands like your likes of Hisense, like your likes of Telenor, the telco network, onto the blockchain, help them understand that. So that it's not about legitimization, but it's about being able to give them the accessibility to the space. And that is a huge source of inspiration to me. Last week I had a chat with one of our closest partners, the global head of TV for Hisense, Jerry, and he was like, I've read all about this space. How can we get into it? How can you guys help to power some of our stuff in Hisense now, because we already enjoy this really close relationship, right? How can we do more value creation and NFT stuff, not just already in our established markets, but in more countries in Africa where we have the distribution system. So that is inspiring to me, because when you've actually brought on what you call the old guard into the ecosystem, and you can see how the impact of your work, your team's work can get carried on, I think that is very, very powerful. And I would say that the last part of it is I always operate on the belief that I look at what I want to be in 5 years' time, and I want to always strive to be that best person that I can be in 5 years' time. Like, would I have been able to create an ecosystem and educate people and empower more creators and fans to learn more about the blockchain and get their creative and financial freedom? That's what I hope to be able to achieve.
Wow, thank you. There are more questions coming in. Unfortunately, we are out of time. I just want to summarize, right? I learned so much. I don't know about you. I learned so much on the panel myself today. I learned that it's not for the faint-hearted. That from Jake's sharing, I learned that blockchain gaming, Metaverse, NFT can be life-changing and a real economic, financial impact on families, right? I learned about focusing on impact, right? As Prakash quoted, mentioned about Gabby, about being open, inclusive, right? And being accessible. Now, we have like 10 seconds. Any last words before we close the panel? Any last words? We have no more time for questions, I'm sorry. Any? No? Anything that you want to say? Crystal balling?
No, not me.
No?
Not crystal balling.
Not crystal balling,
Prakash.
okay.
Prakash has got a lot of things to say, confirm.
I think it's going to be a very exciting space. Don't miss it. Just get involved in a way where it's a passion. Use it as an experiment. Every opportunity is a good opportunity to learn, and I think along the way, beyond the financial benefits, you will identify a whole lot of opportunities to leverage on.
Maybe on that note, Prakash, and maybe we'll end with that, right? There are a number of, this is a gaming conference and a gaming event, and the number of game developers, I think, perhaps sitting in the audience, right? What would be your advice to them if they want to kind of like dabble, explore?
So we're seeing a huge shift, right, of a lot of independent game development studios exploring blockchain as a means of powering their in-game economies, creating new ways the community can co-own the assets. That's creating a massive shift. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot more game development studios leveraging the blockchain. And it's become a lot easier. It's become a lot more accessible. And I will strongly encourage you guys to get involved in the space.
How? How do they get involved?
You can come and speak to me.
Oh, come speak to you. Okay, okay, that's good. Good way to end the panel. Thank you so much, Christel, Prakash, and Jake. It's been a real pleasure. Like I said, I learned a lot, and thank you to Jasper and Brandon and the team for putting this wonderful experience together. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.